This meeting is being recorded.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Lady Empire. I have such an amazing guest here with me tonight. Sairy, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super excited.
Awesome. So I want to just get right to it. Let's first start off with you talking to us a little bit about your background and where you come from.
Awesome, of course. So my name is Sairy. I'm originally from Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico. I was born and raised there. I came to El Paso, Texas when I was 13. And then I stayed here for a little bit, a couple of months. I was living with my aunt. But then I decided to go back to Mexico because I miss my parents so much. And then we all decided to come back to El Paso as a big family. I graduated from the University of Texas at El Paso. I have worked at NASA. Well, I did two internships in 2017, 2018 at NASA in Florida. And then after that, I worked at Apple in California. And then now I'm working at Google.
Wow, so much to uncover here. I'm so excited. So talk to us a little bit about that transition from moving to Mexico to the US. Talk about any challenges or language barriers or anything you had to go through during that process.
So it was really challenging, to be honest. Like, I was 13 years old. I didn't understand one language. I was coming and living with my aunt and her family, like completely different than, than living with my parents. We were super low income. I did struggle a lot. So I started going to middle school. Yeah, middle school. Was it middle school or elementary? I think one of them. But I was 13. I don't remember exactly. I remember I started going to school, and then everyone started talking to me in English, and I was so scared and so confused. And I was like, what are these people saying? What are they talking about? And I started suffering a lot of bullying. Like, people started calling me a lot of names, like really negative stuff, like, go back to your country. You're not part of this. Like, yeah, we have a lot of Mexicans here. We don't want people like you. And it was really sad and frustrating to be going through that. And I was missing my parents. At that time I didn't have a cell phone. It was back then. It was like they charge you per minute and per text. So it was kind of difficult to text my parents or call them. And I would sometimes see them on the weekend. I would go to Juarez and see them there. But it was just super challenging to come to another country, even though it's like, you cross the border, is right there. It's a different world. It's a different culture. I remember I used to go to my teachers and give them a hug every morning. And I was like, good morning. Everyone said good morning. And then I came here and I give a hug to my teacher. And I remember she mentioned, you're invading my personal space. And I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm so confused. And then, the cafeteria, they were giving food and all the stuff. So that's something that you don't see in Mexico. And definitely it was super challenging. But when I went back, when I decided to go back, like, things got extremely. Juarez was one of the most dangerous cities in the whole world.
Mhm.
Like, you could see a lot of dangerous things happening in the street in front of you. And my parents lost their job. Things got really scary. So that's when my parents were like, you know what, we're gonna move to El Paso. And we moved to El Paso as a family. Things got a little bit challenging, more challenging, because none of my parents, they didn't speak English. I was barely learning to speak Spanish, English. And it was super challenging and difficult. But then, like, they found jobs and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a little bit about the challenging part of coming to the United States.
Wow, wow, I can't even imagine that. So talk to us a little bit about how you decided to take that step to go to college, right? Because no one in your family had ever gone to college. They didn't know how to guide you in that process. How did you even know what you were doing in that process? And talk to us a little bit about those steps.
Yes, definitely. So for me, when I was in high school, my mom was super excited that I was graduating high school. She was like, "Yes, I'm so proud of you." Like, my whole family, my dad, yes. And I was just like, like you guys know that I have to graduate high school, right? And then they didn't push me to go to college. They didn't even think I was going to go to college. They never even it didn't even cross their mind. And when I was in high school, what I did, I applied to be part of the health magnet program where I got certified as a dental assistant and a medical translator. Because in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to college. There, like I'm just gonna get these certifications and that's it. I'm gonna start working. That's the end. But then my counselor at that time, Mr. Coughlin's, which is my biggest angel, he sent me. He was telling me you should go to college, and I was like, with what money? Like I have no money. It just I don't. At that time, I didn't even speak English properly because everyone around me was speaking Spanish. So I was like, why am I gonna even learn? What's kind of and my accent too. I just felt super embarrassed. And I received an email, a letter from UTEP prep program where they were saying, we're going to pay for your books. We're going to pay for 2 classes in the summer. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And that's how, I started applying. I started applying for scholarships. I got rejected all of them. I didn't got any of the scholarships. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try and see how it goes in the summer. And that's how my journey began.
Wow.
To be honest, I was not expecting to graduate. Like I really thought I was just gonna drop out of after those 3 months.
Wow. I was gonna say your English is so good. You
Oh.
have come such a long way. I'm so proud. It's so good.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love it. You should not be embarrassed at all, and I hope you're not. So you go to college and then you have mentioned you worked at NASA. So talk to us for a couple summers. So talk to us about how do you even get hired at NASA? How did you even explore this opportunity? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, so when I started college, my major was biology because I was doing dentist stuff. So I was like, oh, might as well I just want to be a dentist, let's see how far I get. And then when I was doing that summer, I was like, I realized that biology is not for me. I don't like it. Then I switched to chemistry. Then I switched to criminal justice because I really wanted to work for the government. Like I wanted to be an FBI agent, like spy and do all this secret stuff.
Yeah.
And then I needed a job, so I started working as a web developer, even though I didn't know anything about programming. Like I thought computer science was about repairing computers, to be honest. That's what I thought it was until I got this job. And then my manager at the time, he was like, you need to change your major. Like, you should pursue this career. I was like, no, you're crazy. So long story short, I started seeing a lot of opportunities in the computer science field, like in STEM. And I started seeing like the FBI was going to the university, that Google, that Facebook, that Microsoft, that NASA was going. And I was like, wow. And they all recruiting these major. So at that time, I was doing an internship with Beto O'Rourke. And then, long story short, they go to the university, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go and talk to them. So I go, they're doing the presentation. Then they start saying, oh, we're recruiting people in the software engineering, blah, blah, blah. So, at the end, everyone wants to talk to the recruiter. And I remember I was one of the first person in line. And like a lot of people started getting in line too, and I was like, guys, the line is over here, not over there. So all those people got the spot, like all those people, that most of the people got a interview spot, and I didn't, because he didn't see me, the recruiter didn't see me. So like when the line was getting short, I was like, hey, like I've been here, I really want to talk to you. He's like, oh, unfortunately we're out of spots, like interview spots, we don't have anything for you. Why don't next year, we're gonna come next year, you should definitely apply next year. And I was like, are you kidding me? No. So at that time I had like a photography type of thing, like a picture of a business card, and I gave it to him, and I say like, I swear you're not going to regret it, just give me an opportunity, I really want to work for NASA. And he looked at me and he said, okay. And he wrote down like, okay, it's 6:30, I'm going to be talking to her. So the next day, I get ready, I go to the university again to talk to him. And he starts telling me about software and blah, blah. And he looks at my resume, and I'm like, there's a lot of things that we need to work on your resume. Like your resume is, my resume was like 5 pages long. As a freshman, I'm like, oh, I did this in high school. And, the font 20, crazy stuff. And Okay, not to make it so long story short, he tells me, no, we need to work on your resume. And I also told him I want to do cybersecurity stuff. That's where my really passion is. He's like, well, I don't recruit for cybersecurity stuff. I can see if another person is interested in you, and then from there we can talk. Oh no, I went back home. I cried. Oh, because before this, I applied to NASA more than 15 times. I apply, and I just kept getting rejected. I was just like, I'm used to it. So I worked on my resume that night after crying, right? I was cleaning
You
my
wiped
tears.
your
I was okay.
tears.
I wiped my tears, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to work on my resume. I work on my resume. I sent it, and then I was like, that's it. He's not gonna respond. So he did. He actually responded, and he said, okay, I'm gonna send this email, your resume to someone else, and then that person reached out to me saying, hey, I want to talk to you. So I had my interview, and then I had another interview, and then another interview, and I finally got the internship.
Oh my gosh, what a story. I love that so much. So, once you're at NASA, what did you end up doing? Did you enjoy your experience? Talk to us a little bit about actually working there.
It was amazing. Okay, first of all, I moved from El Paso. My dad, when I got the internship offer, like first of all, I couldn't believe it. None of my family could believe it. And my dad, the first reaction was like, "No, you're not going. You're not going." I was like, "What do you mean I'm not going? No, you don't know how to cook. You don't know how to clean. Such a Mexican thing, the Hispanic thing in his mind." I was like, "What, Dad? No, you're not going. And then what if they kidnap you over there and blah blah blah." I was like, "Dad, no, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity." And he was really upset because I was leaving. And then my mom supported me a lot. She supported me. She said, "No, you're going. You're gonna go to NASA. You're gonna go to Florida." And like it was a big thing for me to move to Florida. So I moved to Florida in Merritt Island. I started living there, and then I worked there. I met so many awesome people. I met astronauts. I never met Elon Musk, but I saw his car with a lot of like bodyguards, like people driving behind him and all this crazy stuff. Like Space Civic is right there. Like it was completely different. The culture, the weather. I got to experience so much and get out of my comfort zone. And I also got to work on pretty cool stuff like cybersecurity stuff. I got to go to the data centers. Like it was the best
Wow.
internship of my life. And that's where
Wow.
I met my husband too.
Oh, that's awesome. So, oh my gosh. So, were you interested in aeronautics at all, or more just like on that cybersecurity side? Where was your interest there at that point?
My point was I want to work for the government. And what a best thing to work at NASA, and actually like I got to work on, patch and cover and learn about the vulnerabilities of the rockets that they're gonna be sending, in space. And I got to talk to
Wow.
astronauts and learn about like their experience being in space and, like learning about all this crazy amazing stuff. And I got to meet the director at the time. And no, at that time I just really wanted to work for the government.
Hmm. Wow, that's so amazing. I can't even imagine doing that as a college student. It would be insane. So once you had worked a couple summers at NASA, you then transferred over to Apple. So talk to us about why you decided to make that change and, what sort of led you there?
Yes. So, I tried the government. I really liked it. I really liked NASA. I love my mentors, my manager. I loved everything, like 100%, super recommended. Apply. Everyone should apply. But then I realized that I wanted to give myself an opportunity to explore what working in tech companies is. So that's when I went to Grace Hopper, which is one of the biggest tech conferences for women. So you just like 50,000 women go to the conference. Facebook, Google, big, really, really good big companies go and they hire you on spot. Like they give you job offers, they give you interviews, they give you internship opportunities on spot. It's insane. It's huge.
Wow.
Yeah, so I Apple sent me an email and they were like, hey, we would like to interview you. And I was like, I'm not no, thank you, I'm scared, I'm never gonna be able to work there. And I did. I got an internship offer after I moved to California to Sunnyvale, and I worked with a tech company, and I got to realize that there's a lot of different, like a lot of different things between working with the government and working with tech companies.
Absolutely. Yes. Wow. Okay. So, what were you doing at Apple then? What was your role and how was your experience working there at Apple?
So I was a project manager. So I was just like doing projects, working with projects, and it was a cool experience. I liked it. I got to meet a lot of really awesome people. I actually got to meet, um, oh my gosh, I forgot his name, the
Tim
CEO of the
Cook.
company,
Tim
Tim
Cook.
Cook. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like how did I just forget that? I was gonna say Steve Jobs, but no, Tim Cook. No, not him, Tim Cook. And I really liked it. I really liked it. That I got to explore all like the office, enjoy the environment with other interns. It was fun.
Oh, that's awesome. And tell us, are there like nap pods? Is it like how we all see videos of Apple's office, right? Like it's very, very techy, right? Is it? Is it?
Yes, completely different than Google. Not to put Apple down, but Google in my in my experience is much better. I feel like Google really spoils their employees. Yeah, well, Apple, I can describe it as literally what you see, like black and white. Like everything is black and white. It's just so basic, and yeah, everything around you is just black and white versus Google. You have all these crazy perks, and Apple doesn't give you free food. So no.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And Google's very colorful, right? It's got that whole
Yes,
color scheme going.
yes,
So,
yes,
okay. I'm so excited to discuss this. This is so fun. And I actually work at SAP, which is a software company. You may have heard of it, but yes.
yes,
So
of
I
course.
just do this in my free time, and it's so fun to talk to other people, especially women who are in tech. And I love just talking about the different companies and the different roles and software and everything. It's so exciting. I love it so much. Um, so let's talk a little bit about going from Apple to then Google. So once you graduated from college, that's when you moved over to Google, right?
Yes. So when I graduated from college, I started my job as a cloud technical resident.
Okay. Okay.
That
And I want to jump back to what your family had thought once you had graduated college, right? You talked to us about how excited they were you even made it through high school. So what did they do when you graduated from college?
they threw a big party. Like they actually threw a big party for me. Uh, it was I'm actually the first one in my family to graduate college. I'm the first generation immigrant in my family as well,
Wow.
and just being the first one graduating from college, especially in such a complicated, challenging career, it's
Mhm.
something that they were extremely like they were like in shock. They're like, "What do you mean? Yes, I graduated. I'm graduating." They got
Oh,
extremely excited. They couldn't believe it.
yeah. And it brings tears to my eyes because I can't even
Oh.
imagine like how happy they were. And oh, I love that so much. And that's amazing. So tell us about going from Apple to Google, especially right after you graduated. What made you move to Google?
Okay, so a recruiter contacted me again and for a software engineering role, and I was like, I'm not 100%. I don't want to be doing programming. It's not something that I enjoy. So husband, he was telling me, you need to talk to her. You need to talk to her and tell her that you don't want to do this, that you don't want to do that. Maybe she has another opportunity. So that's when I decided to talk to her, jump on a call, and I told her like, you know what? I'm not passionate about software engineering. I'm really passionate about working with people, like doing technical stuff, engineering stuff, but programming is not something that I enjoy. And then she told me, oh, let me tell you about this cloud technical residency program. And basically, it's a 1 year long program where you get to do different roles.
Oh,
And I was a technical account manager, customer engineer, technical solutions engineer, and cloud consultant. So I did
oh,
all those three, and then the first 3 months of the program, they trained me to learn about cloud and how to work with customers.
oh, very cool.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like the perfect job for me because when you're a student, right, and when you're going to be graduating from college, sometimes you're just so desperate because you feel
Yeah.
so desperate because you don't have a job, and then everyone around you has a job except you,
Right.
and you just get the first job that they hand you, even though you're not passionate about it or you don't like it.
Right.
And this program for me was like, hey, I don't really know about these roles, but I don't want to get a role that I'm not happy with. I'm going to try this out. And that's when
Right.
I decided to give it a try, and I became part of the of the group, of the
Oh,
program.
that's awesome. So what is your role now at Google? Talk to us a little bit about your experience with the company.
My experience with the company, I'm not just saying it because I work here. I recommend everyone to apply because it's such an amazing place to work at. I swear, I have never felt so happy being such in a place where I feel so comfortable saying what I think without
Mhm.
people judging me. You can bring your dog, you have free food, you have nap pods, you can do
Oh,
all this amazing stuff. So, long story short, my title right now, I'm a recruiter and an outreach university lead. So I'm
oh.
working with the New Mexico State University in Las Cruces, where I'm helping I focus on the Hispanic community to help them apply for jobs and internship opportunities at Google.
Oh, that's so good because it's almost like you're giving back to the experience that you went through, right? And
Yes.
that's so special. I love that. So what are your goals moving forward? Do you want to stay as a recruiter? Do you want to get back into STEM and computer science and or even back to government work and security? What are your goals moving forward?
So my goal moving forward, definitely a short-term goal that I have is I want to become a full-time outreach like program manager for universities. So I want what it does is that they travel a lot. So we travel everywhere, everywhere. I thank God because of that opportunity. I've been so many places this year because I'm doing as a 20% project because that's something that Google has. You have Fridays, you can work on anything that you want. It's your project. You do whatever you want with your time,
Oh, cool.
and that's one of my goals, right? And I want to help as many students as possible to get a job, to get internships, to get scholarships. Also, you go to universities, you go and give tech talk, like little small talks. You motivate them, you help them, you guide them, you do all this stuff. And then my long term, I would like to have my own business. I want to become the really successful, the most successful businesswoman in the entire universe. I always say that.
Oh, well,
That's one of my goals.
you can do that. I mean, your personality and even just talking to you, I've never met you in my life. And literally just talking to you, you have such charisma and so much
Oh,
energy and excitement. And I'm so happy that we got to meet and do this. And I just want to close out with you telling us where our listeners can find you on social media and where can we follow what you're doing.
yes. So I have my Instagram. It's Sairy, ITSSAIRY. That's my Instagram, and my LinkedIn is Sairy Cohen. First name Sairy, last name Cohen. And if anyone has any questions or concerns, if there's anything I can do to help them, please feel free to send me a message. I'll be more than happy to support you in anything, any way I can.
Oh, well, you are so amazing. And I think our listeners absolutely loved listening to you. So thank you so much for everything that you shared. Thank you for being an amazing resource to our listeners. You are just phenomenal. So thank you.
No, thank you so much for inviting me and allowing me be part of this space. I appreciate it.